As a narcissistic abuse survivor, do you find yourself sleeping like this in this pose, half face covered with your eyes open? If yes, this episode is for you because today I'll explain how you do not fully rest and try to hide yourself while simultaneously keeping your eyes on the narcissist's moves to stay prepared all the time. Let's get started, but before we do, please make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because your subscription helps in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. I am Danish, a psychologist and a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. Before we get started, here is an important announcement for you. If you are a child of a narcissistic parent, I am doing a workshop on May 4th and 11th on how to heal after surviving a narcissistic parent. In this workshop, I'll help you understand how you get traumatized as a child and how you carry that trauma into your adulthood so that you could learn how to heal your core wounds and stop attracting narcissists for good. If you are interested, click the I button above or the link in the description of this episode to enroll right now at a pre-sale price, which is $47 for first 100 participants. Only 20 seats are left. Now let's get back to the topic. When you are in a narcissistic relationship, you are stuck in a pretty complex situation. One part of yours wants to hide for obvious reasons because you do not want to be around the predator. Yet the other part wants to stay there hyper-vigilant and hyper-attuned to the narcissist's mood or the familial environment overall, to be prepared, to know what is coming so that you can dodge the bullet or you can protect yourself in whatever way possible. And that makes you change your behavior in ways that might be perceived as weird or eccentric by outsiders who do not know what's going on with you. One of these behaviors is what I showed you in the beginning of this episode. Sleeping under a heavy blanket but keeping your eyes open, ears open. You have the urge to fully dissolve into this blanket and become invisible so that the narcissist forgets about you, but at the same time you know you cannot do that. You may dissociate from your body, but you cannot physically dissociate from your environment. You will be seen because you live in this. So as a way to create some kind of weird balance, you keep your eyes on a lookout to know what's going on. That's why your hearing is so hyper active. You hear the smallest things, rather you overhear. Why is that? Because you had to do that. You had to become this way. You had to make these changes to make changes in yourself and prevent the narcissist from devastating or destroying you. Sleeping in this way can also be seen as a final attempt made at regulating your nervous system. When exposed to the narcissist, you are hypervigilant or hyperactivated. In simple words, you're anxious. Your heart is palpitating. You are not breathing rhythmically at all and your body is tense. You cannot relax. So when you sleep under that blanket, it's like you or your head or your eyes are telling your body, the rest of your body, you rest, you hide, and I am going to make sure that you are safe. I'll stay out there. I'll know what's going on and I'll tell you if you need to change anything. Also, it's just that psychological barrier, call it imaginary or real, that you create between yourself and the narcissist. This is your last resort. You can't escape them fully, so you escape them this way. When I learned about the trauma response that I'm explaining to you, my childhood made total sense to me. Now I can understand why I always wanted to hide, why I always wanted to sleep under heavy blankets, why I was always behind the curtains, behind the doors, or I would not sit in the center. I would always find a corner where nobody would see me, that I would become invisible. That's the reason why I always hated attention, because attention always meant threat to me. That made me extremely introverted. I am an introvert by nature, but that pushed me, made me really anxious, really anxious about connecting with others or being the focus in the moment. I would always shy away, and people would think I am the weird one, but I was not. I was deeply traumatized. You sleep this way, you hide in your books, in your video games, in your room, in music, art, your bathroom, wherever, to stay away from the hawk's eyes. Whose eyes are those? The narcissist's eyes. You want to immerse yourself in something completely different. That one helps you to express the inexpressible and also keep you away, keep you completely disconnected from the narcissist. Sleeping with your hands up in the air like this, like that, is also an attempt made by the body to induce somatic regulation. In fact, sleeping while keeping your hand up in the air like this and playing with your hand is a big sign of your nervous system dysregulation, and it's like a discharge of energy that's being attempted by your nervous system every time you go like this. You need to understand your body. This is why I'm so heavily body focused, and I think all modern trauma modalities are. It is through the body you can resolve what is in the mind, not the other way around. Earlier they used to focus on top-down approach, which is like change our thoughts, change his thoughts, and his feelings would change, that would change his behavior, CBT, basics. Now the equation has changed. Notice what's going on in the body, why it is contracted, process the sensations, that would change the thoughts, and that would lead to stabilization and trauma processing. That should be your key focus when healing, which is what I am going to talk about in a lot more depth and detail in the workshop that I am doing. If you want to book your spot, click the I button above or the link in the description of this episode. Another variation of the same trauma response is sleeping on the other side, never facing the narcissist if both of you are in the same bed. Why? It's like becoming the ostrich that hides its head in the ground and acts like all threat is gone. That's a coping mechanism, isn't it? That's freeze response in manifestation, the classic example of it. You do not only freeze, you collapse as well in that moment, because it's not like the threat may come to you. The threat is there. The tiger, the beast, the lion, it's sleeping next to you. It could maul you any minute, and you're just trying to now make a last attempt, which is sleeping on the other side, not facing them, and acting like they are not there. Of course, you don't think about that consciously. These are behaviors driven by your sensations, but I'm just explaining to you why you do that. How did you sleep when you were living with a narcissist, and how do you sleep if you are living with them? What trauma responses do you notice in your current behavior that got activated because of narcissistic abuse? Drop your experiences and these trauma responses in the comments below, and you will be shocked to see a lot of people resonating with you. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much, as always, for listening and for tuning in. I will talk to you in the next one. Until then, as always, let the healing begin and continue.